What's going on, guys? So we are back for another cross-training shoe review, and today we're looking at the Under Armour HOVR Rise 2. So 3 things I like about this model is number 1, it's great for training and day-to-day wear. So if you want to wear this to walk the dogs, to work, or do some casual training in, this is a great model for doing so. The second thing I like about this shoe is the bootie design and how lightweight it is. This shoe feels super good in a lot of different activities, so it is very versatile on top of being great from a day-to-day wear standpoint. The third thing I like about this model is that it's pretty budget friendly. This is definitely one of the more cost-efficient trainers out there. And again, if you are somebody who wants a trainer to wear on day-to-day, but also go to the gym in, this is a good model for the price. All right, so 2 potential cons I could see folks having with this model is number 1, it's definitely not gonna be the most stable option out there. With the heel to toe at 8mm, it's a little bit higher than what you're normally getting with like a 4mm cross trainer. Plus the HOVR tech, while it's awesome for functionality and getting a lot of responsiveness from the ground, it's definitely not the best when supporting heavier loads. Now you can train pretty heavy in this model, but it isn't gonna be the most stable on the market. The second con I could see folks having with this model is that when you get sweaty, it is pretty tough to get on and off. The bootie design doesn't have a lot of stretch. Now they do have these 2 loops here, so again, this is more of like a vanity problem. It's not the biggest deal, but it's definitely not the easiest shoe to get on and off, especially if you're rocking low or like ankle socks and you've been sweating a lot. All right, so when it comes to sizing and fit, I would recommend going true to size. There's enough room up here in the toe, and the toe box is decently wide, not super wide, but decent enough to where you can splay the toes pretty well. So if you're on the market for this shoe, true to size I think is gonna be the safe bet. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel. It helps me pay my assistant here, and it helps motivate me to keep making videos. Do you like these shoes? Personally, yes, just because it is very versatile and you can rock it on a day-to-day. Plus, it looks pretty dang cool. Like, it's not a trainer that I don't think is so aesthetically unpleasing that you wouldn't wear them day-to-day. So, all right, so now let's chat on performance of this model. So we'll break it into 3 different sections. We'll talk about lifting, we'll talk about like plyo and agility work, and then we'll talk about running and day-to-day wear. Now, from a lifting point of view, how does this shoe stack up? Personally, I think it's a great model for your recreational training days. So if you're doing dumbbell work, lighter barbell work, or just going to the gym, this is gonna be a fine model to do so with. Now, would I wear this shoe to max out in and do heavier barbell work in? Not necessarily. I would opt for different models over this one, just for stability purposes. But overall, the HOVR midsole, despite it having a little bit more material down here, isn't incredibly compressible, so it's gonna take a lot of load to really compress it and feel unstable. So I think for most folks, lifting in this shoe will be just fine. All right, so now when it comes to plyometrics and agility work, I'm a fan of this shoe. It's pretty dang lightweight. The bootie design makes this feel very like athletic fitting and very secure. And overall, it feels very natural on the foot. It never feels like super heavy. It never feels like it's weighing you down at all. And the HOVR midsole is pretty dang responsive. So you are gonna get a lot of feedback when doing different jumps and agility focused movements. All right, so now let's talk about day-to-day wear and running. And I don't know how many more times I'm gonna say day-to-day wear in this video, but on a day-to-day basis, this is a solid model. I've been rocking this on my dog walks when I go walk and grab coffees, and overall it's comfortable, it's form-fitting, and it provides enough cushion on the ground to make it feel very comfortable for longer walks. Now when it comes to running, I've only done shorter runs in this model. I haven't done super long runs, mostly because I'm in a strength mesocycle and I just don't have the capacity to do long runs right now. So from a shorter standpoint of running, when it comes like 3 to 4-ish miles, this shoe is solid. The HOVR midsole, again, is very responsive. The outsole has a good amount of tread on it, so whether you're inside or outside on a treadmill, or inside on a treadmill or outside running, it's a good model to do so with. So for shorter runs, I would vouch for this model. Now when it comes to longer runs, again, I don't know, so I am not the best person to ask for if you're doing like 7, 8+ miles, but shorter run basis, solid shoe. Overall, I'm a fan of this model. 1, it's cost efficient. 2, it's versatile. And I think for most folks who just want that more casual training shoe, this is a solid bet. All right, guys, so now let's quickly go over the construction of this model. So I'll start up here on the toe. So we have an outward outsole that comes up over the toe here. Nice for preventing any breakdown. And we have a 3D print that kind of goes over the whole medial and lateral side. That's awesome for durability purposes. And the mesh up here itself is not necessarily see-through, but it's definitely lightweight and a little bit more breathable. You can definitely feel the cool air, for example, when you're working out with these outside in the cooler months, as I have been. So going through the midsole here, so we have a HOVR midsole throughout the medial and lateral side. And then we have a bootie design back here. So again, no separate tongue. And we have 5 eyelets that run up on the midfoot. Tongue itself, decent amount of stretch to it. Never really feels like it's like getting sucked down, or it never really overlaps or anything. So tongue construction I think is awesome. And again, these 2 loops make it really easy to pull this shoe on and off. The 5th eyelet is this more like outward facing overlap material here. That's on the medial and lateral side. Helps provide a lot of security for that midfoot. And the heel itself isn't incredibly stiff and stable, but I do think it has enough boot and cup around it to provide a lot of stability for most folks in the gym. It's not, again, not the most stable, but overall, like you can see here, not a lot going on when it comes to movement. So I do think the boot is pretty dang stable. The outsole construction itself, we have a little hover tech here in the middle, and then we have a pretty standard outsole. We have some meta splits up here, it looks like, so a little bit of reactivity up there. These shoes feel like they break in really fast. Like after 1 or 2 workouts, honestly, they feel really good. But overall, I think that's really the gist of this shoe. It's not super complex when it comes to construction. And I think that's one of the best things about this model. And again, I know I mentioned this earlier, but the heel to toe offset is 8 millimeters. So overall, I think that's everything in a nutshell, guys. If you have any other questions, obviously drop them in the comments below. That wraps up my review of the Under Armour Hover Rise 2. If you have any questions on this model or want anything that's a little bit more specific in nature, if you're thinking about buying it, drop your questions down below in the comments. And as always, guys, drop a like to the video, drop a subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Now he threw. Good boy.